Hello, everyone. Welcome to another video. This one here, I want to talk about something that I have problems with, and I would bet that most of you have problems with. Don't let the world distract you. We are part of the world, and we have to go out into it. We can't minister to the world if we don't go out into it. But don't let it distract you. God has power of everything that we see. He has control of the timing. So just make sure that you don't lose sight of what you're supposed to be doing. Now, there are many things that can distract us. Squirrel. Just like that, like the cartoon. We have real life things that we need to take care of, like our job, our family, even our recreation when we're doing something. But stay with me, and I have some pointers for you to help you out. We all deal with this every day. If you like this video, click the like button. Click the subscribe button if you want to see more. And of course, hit the bell icon and you'll be notified when I release a new video. Also, you could help me out by sharing this on Facebook, sharing it on YouTube. Leave me a comment on YouTube and let me know what you think. Anyhow, let's get started. Like I said, we live in a busy world, but it's not so busy that you can't stop and look around. Don't lose sight of God. Satan is an expert at misdirection. He's better than the magicians that we love to watch that can distract you to watch this hand because they're looking at it while this hand is manipulating something and you don't see it. They make a living out of that, but it's benign, it's fun. But Satan does it to harm us, to harm God. So pay attention. Let's see how Peter was distracted. Let's turn our Bibles to Matthew 14, 22 through 31. Now, Jesus had been talking to the crowds, and he does this a number of times where he gets tired and wants to get away. So by sending the guys out in a boat, he can handle that. So in 22, and straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go before him onto the other side while he sent the multitude away. And when he had sent the multitude away, he went up onto the mountain to pray. Does that all the time. That's also another good tip. Follow what Jesus does. He gives us the best examples. So he wasn't being distracted by the crowd when he went up there on the mountain. He came down to deal with them, but he went away to get with God. The mountain apart to pray. And when the evening had come, he was there alone. But the ship was now gone in the midst of the sea, being tossed with the waves. The wind was contrary. Other words would be rough, harsh. It was a relatively small lake, but it can get some big storms because they come off of that desert and mountain areas that are around it. And 25. And then the fourth watch. I've had to do that in the Navy. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went to them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "Is this a spirit?" And they cried out in fear. But straightway Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Be of good cheer. It is I. Do not be afraid." And Peter said to him, "Lord, if it's thou, bid me to come to me on the water." And he said, "Come." And when Peter was out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. Stop here for a second. Do you know anybody who's walked on water? I only know two people, Jesus and Peter. It can be done. Jesus can permit it. It doesn't always have a use. But in this case, it was a use to go to Jesus. He will do anything for us to come to him. Okay. Back to verse 30. But when he saw the wind was boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said it unto him, O you of little faith, why did you doubt? Okay. His faith could have kept him walking on the water, but he was distracted. Satan will do whatever he has to do, especially if we're trying to get to Jesus. If we're trying to help somebody else to get to Jesus. Anything that will advance God's ways for our world down here, Satan will try to distract us. You've got to make sure you stay focused. We've all been distracted and we miss out on what's, best. God has the best for us and we can miss it by being distracted. I do part-time acting work, and I know one of the rules of acting is when the camera is on you, don't blink. Sometimes it takes a bit of effort to just stare at the camera and not blink. I just blinked. Did it distract you? It probably did, and you maybe didn't notice it. But every time I blink, it can distract you. So we know not to do that when the camera's on us. And if we do, they just shoot another take. So we can be distracted easily. But the first thing you got to do is just like falling off a bike, you get back on, you get distracted, get back on track, and get back to what God wants you to do. If you're doing something and you're really concentrating on it, stop occasionally. Test the wind, as the sailors would say. Make sure you're on the right track. If you're not, adjust. We can be blown off course without paying attention. I'm like that. I focus on what I'm doing so intently that I don't notice the building falling down around me. I've never really had anything major go wrong because God protects me. But I have missed out on things where people have called, come to the door because I was intent on what I was doing and I missed out. And God is also not like our personal navigators in our car. I'm going to turn right here and go a different way than what the thing's telling me. And as soon as you turn and it detects it, you recalculate your path and finds the next best path. Sometimes God will do that. But a lot of times, he's got things along the way that he set out originally that he wants you to deal with. So you got to get back on the right path. It's also, my navigator has also told me to make a U-turn and go back, even though I know I can go that way. It doesn't always work in our best interest, but God does. Okay, that's all I have for now. Try to focus on God, then focus on everything else that you've got. And periodically stop and refocus on God again so that you always know that you're where God wants you. So, till we meet in the clouds, God bless.